Welcome back to our latest deep dive. Today we're staring into a void that I really don't think many people realize is even there.
Yeah, it's definitely a hidden world.
Right, we're talking about an entire economy operating right under our noses, or I guess more accurately, inside our servers. It's increasingly invisible, it's automated, and frankly, it's absolutely massive.
It really is. And, we aren't just talking about a few algorithms trading stocks here or high-frequency trading on Wall Street. We are looking at a fundamental shift in who and what actually participates in the global economy.
Yeah, to give everyone listening a sense of the sheer scale we are dealing with here, I want to start with this staggering number from the latest Chainalysis report. So in 2024, illicit cryptocurrency addresses received approximately $40.9 billion.
Which is a massive number on its own.
Right. But here's the kicker. They estimate the real number, once all the data eventually comes in and is fully attributed, that's going to revise up to over $51 billion.
It's just a staggering amount of value. I mean, to put that in perspective for you, $51 billion is larger than the GDP of many small nations.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bigger than the entire economy of Jordan or Tunisia. And that is just the money we can identify as explicitly tied to criminal activity.
It's just a lot of lost cash floating around the digital ether. So today, our mission for this deep dive is to unpack where that money is actually coming from. But we're going to go deeper than just the crime aspect.
Because it goes much further than that.
Exactly. We are going to look at the rise of autonomous AI agents. This is software that can buy and sell without us. Then we're going to look at what's being called the invisible war of MEV bots, fighting for profit in milliseconds. And finally, we have to talk about the psychological toll, the impact this high-speed automated world takes on the actual humans trying to keep up.
It's quite a journey. We're moving from the professionalization of a shadow economy to the rise of the machines, and then finally back to the human impact.
So let's start with the crime layer, because I think when you say crypto crime, most people still picture, someone buying illegal goods on the Silk Road or the dark web using Bitcoin. Is that still the reality, or have the bad guys moved on?
That is very much the old stereotype.
Mhm.
It's kind of the 2013 view of crypto crime. If you look at the Chainalysis 2025 crypto crime report, the landscape has shifted dramatically.
Okay.
The big headline here is that criminals have largely ditched Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, since 2021, Bitcoin is no longer the primary choice for illicit activity.
See, I feel like Bitcoin still gets all the bad press for this. So what are they actually using instead?
Stablecoins. Stablecoins now make up about 63% of all illicit transaction volume.
Okay, hang on. That seems completely counterintuitive to me. Stablecoins are usually pegged to the dollar, right?
Right.
And they are run by centralized companies like Tether or Circle, and those companies can freeze funds. Why would a criminal use something that has a pause button controlled by a corporate CEO?
It does seem risky at first glance, doesn't it? Usually we think of crypto criminals wanting to be these uncatchable ghosts using privacy coins. But it turns out they have the exact same problem that legitimate businesses have.
Which is,
Volatility.
okay. Right. If I steal $10 million in Bitcoin and the market crashes 20% the next day while I'm sleeping.
You just lost $2 million.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. The Chainalysis report really points this out. Criminals are treating theft like a P&L statement now. They want the stability of the U.S. dollar. So they use USDT or USDC. They're prioritizing preserving the value of their loot over the risk of censorship.
But surely Tether freezes these wallets. I mean, I've seen the headlines about massive seizures.
They do. And they actually froze a record amount in 2024. But you have to think of it like a speed run. The criminals are betting that they can move the funds, launder them through mixers, and cash out faster than the compliance department at Tether can press that freeze button.
So it's a massive high-stakes game of tag.
It really is. And speaking of business, the report highlights the professionalization of this shadow economy. We aren't just talking about lone hackers in a basement wearing hoodies anymore. We are seeing the rise of laundering as a service.
Laundering as a service, like SaaS, like software as a service.
Yes.
Please tell me there isn't a customer support line for money laundering.
It's uncomfortably close to that, honestly. There is a marketplace mentioned in the report called Huioni Guarantee. It's an online platform that has processed over $70 billion since 2021.
70 billion.
Yes. And while it presents itself as this neutral marketplace for merchants, the research shows it is heavily facilitating big butchering scams, money laundering, and other major fraud.
$70 billion is just unbelievable. That is not a niche operation. That is a full-blown conglomerate.
It illustrates perfectly how crime has become an organized, infrastructure-heavy industry. And frankly, the most terrifying part of this professionalization comes from the nation-state actors. I know you saw the stats on North Korea in the notes.
Yeah, that part really stuck out to me. The report says North Korean hackers were responsible for stealing about $1.34 billion in 2024 alone. That is 61% of all crypto stolen in hacks that entire year.
Just think about that for a second. More than half of all the money hacked from crypto protocols globally is going to one single regime.
It's wild.
And they aren't just breaking in with brute force code anymore. They are increasingly using social engineering. They are infiltrating companies by getting hired as IT workers to compromise networks from the inside.
That is just wild. So you're a tech company. You hire a remote dev thinking you're getting a great deal on talent, and it turns out he's funneling your private keys directly to Pyongyang.
That is exactly what is happening. So we have organized nation-state hacking,
Yeah.
we have laundering services that function like corporate entities, and a massive shift to stable assets. The criminal underworld has completely modernized.
It has. But what is even more fascinating, and perhaps a little unsettling, is that the legitimate economy is also modernizing. And it's doing it in a way that might make human participation entirely optional.
Right, and this brings us to the agent economy. This is the part of the research from Tiger Research and Arcade.dev that really shifts our perspective today. We aren't talking about criminals anymore. We are talking about the infrastructure of the future.
And just to clarify for everyone listening, when we say agent, we are not talking about ChatGPT just writing a polite email for you. We are talking about software that has its own wallet.
That is the key distinction. We are transitioning from humans using tech to tech acting on its own. These are autonomous AI agents. Unlike a chatbot that just talks to you or retrieves information, an agent does things. It executes tasks, and crucially, it can execute payments.
The stats on this from the sources are pretty aggressive. Arcade.dev reports that the agentic AI market is projected to reach $48.2 billion by 2030, and apparently 79% of organizations are already deploying agents beyond just basic chatbots.
It's moving incredibly fast.
But I want to make this real for you, the listener. Let's say I want my AI to order me a pizza. How does this actually work?
That's a great example. There are really two competing visions for how an AI orders that pizza. On one side, you have the big tech approach, like Google's AP2, which stands for Agent Payment Protocol.
This uses what they call mandates, right?
Correct.
Okay.
In the Google model, your AI is basically using your credit card, but it's on a very tight leash. You give it a cart mandate, which is permission to put pepperoni on the list. Then you give it a payment mandate, which is permission to spend up to $30 at Domino's.
So it's essentially like giving a child my credit card, but I'm hovering over their shoulder while they type in the numbers.
Exactly. It works, but it's heavily permissioned. It relies on Visa, it relies on legacy partnerships, and it's very much a walled garden. Now, the crypto model, the autonomous agent, is totally different. This agent doesn't need your credit card at all. It has its own wallet.
It has its own money.
It has its own money, and crucially, it has its own reputation. That's where the technical standard ERC 8004 comes in, which Tiger Research highlighted in their paper.
Unpack that for us. Why does a piece of software need a reputation?
Because in the crypto world, there is no Visa customer service line to call if you get scammed. So imagine your pizza ordering agent goes out onto the blockchain. It finds a pizza selling agent. Before it sends any money, it checks the seller's ID, which is an NFT.
So it's an NFT acting as an ID card.
Exactly. It looks at the blockchain history associated with that specific NFT. It asks, has this seller successfully delivered 10,000 pizzas? Do they have any unresolved disputes?
So it's not just checking a Yelp review, it's checking the cryptographic math of their past behavior.
It's checking the math. And if the reputation score is good, it initiates a smart contract payment using a standard called by 402. The money gets locked in escrow. Once the delivery is verified, maybe by the GPS on the driver's phone connecting to the network, the funds release automatically.
Wow.
No human ever had to click approve on the transaction.
That is incredibly efficient. It's true machine-to-machine commerce.
It is the Internet of Agents. And there are projects out there like Ola's that are trying to democratize this. They have something called Pearl, which is basically an app store specifically for AI agents. The slogan they use is, own your weights, own your brain.
Which is a very catchy way of saying, don't let Google own your AI.
Precisely. Instead of renting an AI from a massive tech company, you actually own the agent. It works for you, it holds your assets, and it builds its own reputation over time.
It sounds like this utopia of efficiency, but it also sounds like we're building a world where money moves at the speed of code, not the speed of people.